hour, former House Speaker, Fox News contributor, and author of March to Majority. Newt Gingrich is with us. Also joining us is KAConsulting president and Fox News contributor, pollster, and former senior counselor to President Trump, Kellyanne Conway. Great to see you both. Thank you so much for being here. Newt, your reaction to the comments about Nikki Haley's future on the streets of New York?
Look, I think she has every right to run through her home state. She's apparently, according to every poll, is going to lose by a huge margin. I think she's much better off to drop out at that point, because this theory that if she stays in and anything happens to Trump, the convention would turn to her, gets less and less likely. She has become the anti-Trump candidate. The delegates are all going to be pro-Trump, and they're going to pick anybody but Nikki. So I think the longer she stays in after Saturday, every right to run in her home state, but I think she's going to be crushed in her home state. And at that point, she starts to look both silly, and her attacks become strident and, frankly, harmful to Republicans.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, Newt, because I guess that's her thinking, right? If something happens to Trump with all of these indictments and him going to trial, then she's the obvious person who's still standing and will get the vote. You say, no, it's going to be anybody but Haley. How do you come up with that, and who would it be if that's the case?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's going to be the case. I think the nominee and probable next president is Donald J. Trump. And all I would say at this point is, who knows? I mean, the Trump family, under any circumstance, will have enormous influence in the Republican Party. And Donald Trump Jr. will be one of the players that would be real. But we have a very deep bench between governors, senators, a couple of House members. There'll be a lot of potential people. And it would be an interesting convention, because we haven't had that kind of open convention. But my personal belief is that President Trump is going to be the Republican nominee, and he's going to become president again.
Most people are betting the same. 45 becomes 47. Kellyanne, President Trump is beating Nikki Haley right now by almost 30 points in the polls. It's pretty outsized. Is she at this point helping Joe Biden?
Yes. The Democrats and the hard left, all these third-party groups, Maria and Newt, will use Nikki Haley's comments, her frontal attacks against Trump, which are both incendiary and often false, against him in the general. I think she's being quite selfish, not self-interested here. And look, after South Carolina tomorrow, Nikki Haley will have lost to Donald Trump in 4 major geographic areas by double digits: the Midwest, Iowa; the Northeast, New Hampshire; the Rocky Mountain West, Nevada; and the South Carolina, a state which Newt Gingrich, by the way, is being very humble today, won in the 2012 presidential primary by 12 points. I remember it well. So South Carolina can surprise us. It's where Joe Biden actually rescued his presidential efforts and eventually became the nominee and the president. But there are no surprises here. The biggest surprise is why the former governor of South Carolina is losing to Donald Trump by double digits. She lost touch with the grassroots of South Carolina quite a while ago. I see quote after quote to that effect. Newt is correct. She has every right to run. This is a democracy. But for all those people always screaming about electability, inevitability, will of the people, let the voters decide, folks, they have. And it's Donald Trump. Everything's coming up Trump. But I think it's a time to unify. Yeah. And for some reason, her attacks have intensified. They haven't abated. They've intensified. And to Newt's point, and I think this is an essential talker this morning, is she has basically Democrats and never Trumpers voting for her. People say she's got independents, she has suburban women, sure, but not enough of them to even be the Republican nominee. To be the Republican nominee, you have to attract Republican voters. Last point. Trump, I keep hearing Trump's got a base, Trump's got a base. Trump has base plus right now. He's burrowing into African Americans, Hispanics, young people, political independents, plenty of women, and he's gnawing into the very attenuated, very weak base of support that Joe Biden scaffolded together to make it in 2020. And if Biden doesn't win back those groups in the general, he's toast.
Well, Newt, a Gallup poll released just this morning shows President Biden's approval rating dropping again. It's now down to 38%. Biden's approval rating has not rose above 44% since August of 2021. Newt, this is about policy.
Well, look, I think, first of all, the real break point, as you point out, was August. of 2021, and it was the total collapse in Afghanistan and the fact that the President of the United States lied about it. All the rest of us are watching horrifying pictures of people dropping out of the wheel wells of airplanes, and chaos, and Americans being killed by a terrorist bomber. And there's Trump, or there's Biden saying, "Oh gosh, this is all really been brilliantly done." And I think at that point people began to realize this guy just doesn't get it, and his economic policies are a disaster. He is fanatically pro-open border, even though we had something like, I think, 40,000 Chinese males of military age cross the border under his open border policy in the last few months. Every major city is now suffering from thousands of Biden illegal immigrants. And you look at the crime rates, you look at the challenges we've got with fentanyl, and I think people are looking around thinking, this just isn't working. And so I think he's going to have a very hard time recovering. He reminds me more and more of Jimmy Carter. And Carter went through a period where people finally concluded, you know, he just can't do it. And the result was Reagan won the largest electoral college victory in American history against an incumbent president.
Yeah, and I think his priority has been national security and even individual security. So you have to believe that women want security for their family. And national security has become a major issue given all of the hostilities across the world and the wide open border. I want to hear more from you on that. So let's take a short break and come back with Kellyanne and Newt.